Hey everybody, welcome back to the March Mood Mindfulness Challenge. It's day 25 and we're looking at physical touch. Now, the prompt I put in my Facebook group today was, how do you feel loved by yourself? And I want to start by bringing in the general benefits of physical touch. So forms of physical touch that we have in society today are things like, pat on the back, holding hands, a caress of the arm, clasping hands together, holding hands together, linking arms together. We have a variety of ways where we do extend our bodies and touch other people's bodies for certain reasons. And it's been proven that physical touch is the primary form of communication. Especially when you think in terms of people who don't speak the same language, physical touch is a way of how we get people's attention. Physical touch is also a way that we can have nonverbal communication, and mainly physical touch is a form of exchange of compassion. So there have been studies that have shown that animals in the lab that have groomed and licked their young a lot, the young grow up to be really resilient to stress tests, as well as having a really healthy immune system. And there has been a lot of research to show that that's the case, that physical touch increases our ability to be resilient to stress. There have also been some pretty sad stories coming out of orphanages where children have been neglected, and not due to anything to do with the orphanage, but basically the sheer volume of orphans that have come in and the very limited amount of staff, and the cases of neglect and failure to thrive and failure of development, and it all comes back to that ability to give someone one-on-one attention and be able to give them any physical touch that they require when they ask for it. We all know that young children are very, very kinesthetic, that they're very charming and they're very expressive, and they're very much and very much touch-based. I think all primates are. They've done a lot of studies on monkeys and gorillas, and just so much grooming takes place, so much touching and closeness to vicinity that I think the young develop with a lot of touch in their world. So it only makes sense that as we develop like this in our younger years, it only continues on through the other stages of our life. So you'll see that a lot of children love to hang around together, hand holding, the hugging, but also a lot of boys are very in touch kinesthetically, and just in general, when there's a need for physical touch, it indicates a need for compassion and trust. How does touch work, and how is it important for us? So touch happens kinesthetically when our skin, any area of our skin, because our skin is the first organ that contacts the external world, and there are sensors on the surface of our skin. When these sensors are activated by whatever pleasing and maybe not so pleasing touch, the neural signals, and once again, we are all energy, our body is energy, we run energetically. So the neural response goes from wherever we were touched up to our brain, and it activates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve immediately switches the nervous system from a sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress, fight or flight response, to a parasympathetic, which is a much relaxed, calmer state. And several things happen physiologically in our body. Our heartbeat slows down. Our breathing also slows down. So that's the first shift that happens. But also what the vagus nerve does is that it goes to the hypothalamus and allows for the release of oxytocin. Remember, oxytocin is also known as a love hormone. Oxytocin gets pumped into the blood. It goes into areas that are relevant in the body, pretty much everywhere. There are hormone receptors there, and it changes our physiology. And when you're all really stressed, and then all of a sudden there's a shift, the shift in physiology also usually changes our behavior. And instead of being so highly stressed, we start to relax and come down off the high, the energy, the stress, the anxiety. So it's safe to say that physical touch creates a soothing of the nervous system. Physical touch creates a feeling of safety, and physical touch also helps us regulate our emotions. Physical touch also helps us regulate our behaviors. So sometimes you need that person to just hang in there, don't get upset. And that touch, communicated with that intention, could be enough to keep you sitting down instead of getting up swinging. So this has been discovered for some time now, and as a result, touch therapy has become really mainstream in our world today. Touch therapy is very well known in many industries. So for example, in the aged care industry, we do that in occupational therapy. There's a lot of one-on-one, and there's a lot of activities where our clients, our residents, are actually engaged in a lot of personal touch activities where it's very tactile and it's very stimulating. I've noticed, and this is from my personal experience, the minute I walk into a room, I will get a hand extended out to me straight away. 9 times out of 10, this is how I'm greeted. They are asking for touch. And although nowadays the situation is a little bit difficult, and we are told to keep our hands to ourselves and to do, the elbow shake, we have gloves on and that are changed between rooms and between residents. I will always return an outstretched hand with mine in it, because what they're asking for is that connection. We know that old people don't usually have a lot of connection with their loved ones once they enter the residence, once they enter a facility. And really the only person they have in their life that's constant is their carer. And when there are many carers, it may seem like they've lost touch with their special person. So for me, it's this lifelong mission of being known by every single resident in my facility for a special bond that we have, so that now I see the relationship flourishing the minute I walk in and they ask for me to touch them. So physical touch, I can't stress how important it is, especially for the elderly. Physical touch is also recognized in deliveries. The first hour that a baby is born, the baby is placed on the mom's chest, and there's that beautiful connection, that physical touch, the bonding between mom and child. I've also done it with my husband and my child. There's a lot of physical touch there. Physical touch also has come in the form of bringing animals into hospitals, and for sure we've brought animals into our residence facilities. We've brought horses, we've brought donkeys. My girlfriend, one of my colleagues' cat had kittens, and she brought a laundry basket full of kittens. The carers sometimes bring their dogs in, and just the love and the compassion and the sheer joy and excitement of our residents when they touch and feel so beautiful, the beautiful fur and the beautiful sensations that they get. It definitely elicits an emotional state which you can't get from anything else. Touch therapy has also encouraged bringing animals into school. I know that when my kids were younger, there were guinea pigs at school. Sometimes there were rabbits at school. We also had roosters at school that used to lay eggs. And a big highlight of kids is to go in and collect the eggs and touch the chickens. Did I say roosters? Chickens lay eggs. And there was And they weren't allowed to have roosters because they were in the middle of the school, and that breaks the code of the area. But it was chickens. It was a huge joy to be able to bring a guinea pig home for the weekend, right? And there was just lots of love and touching there. And they make the funniest sounds when they're touched. They like gurgle. It's really interesting. Pets also provide that physical touch for us and that feel-good feeling. And pretty much everybody I know has a pet in their home. So then little did you know that your pet is activating your vagus nerve and helping you, calm your nervous system down. But, maybe you did, because you know how pets make you feel good. So you don't need to know how it's done. You just know that your pets do make you feel good. My question here is, do we have to wait for something or someone to touch us for us to feel good about ourselves? And the answer here is no. If we know the benefits of physical touch and how it's good for our mental well-being and our emotional well-being, doesn't it stand to reason that we can help ourselves feel good within ourselves? So some of the activities I have here are, massages, getting massages, giving yourself massages, buy yourself some beautiful skincare, and actually take the time to, now that you know that physical touch is so important to you, actually massage yourself with the intention of calming your nervous system down and feeling good about yourself. I've talked previously about havening, and havening is basically just that, eliciting beautiful reactions in your body so that you feel good about yourself and you actually feel your physical body. Doing the head massage, or getting a tool to give yourself a head massage, getting a tool to give yourself your neck massage and your back massage, actually getting down to your fingers and your toes and doing actual Chinese medicine on your fingers, reflexology on your toes. Each single finger and each single toe is associated with an organ in your body, and they run through meridians where energy runs through your body and exiting through your fingers and your toes and through each organ. So actually stimulating and flushing energy out of your body through the meridians is a great way to make yourself feel good. And if you're very comfortable with energy and using your energy tools, then that's a great way to actually make yourself feel good from the inside. Tapping was also a beautiful way that I did in one of my earlier videos of how to move the energy and how to calm down yourself when you're feeling really nervous, right? Touching things that you actually have control of, so buying a beautiful blanket, buying beautiful silky stuff, buying satiny stuff, these all are kinesthetics that activate the sensory cells on our skin and elicit that beautiful shiver response, which is your nervous system switching over from a sympathetic to a parasympathetic and a calming state. Also has to do with shifting the brain waves. So it's just anything that makes you feel good. Even having the room just a touch cooler will switch your nervous system into a parasympathetic nervous system. Also, anything to do with physical activity that you can induce yourself is really good for you. So physical activity is basically the rushing of the energy all around your body. You'll notice sometimes that when you wake up in the morning, if you're lethargic and you're tired and you just can't get out of bed, what's happening here is that energy is stagnant. And it is wonderful to start to motivate yourself to start to flush the energy. So I'm not going to say go for a run, but I do perhaps to go for a walk to start off and really just start exercising every single part of your body. Move your elbows around, move your wrists around, move your knees around, move your ankles around. Start to bring the energy up from the earth through your body. And start to feel good in yourself and in your body. And stretching. Stretching is also good for you. Stretching is finding that point where everything is stiff and just slowly starting to go beyond the point so that you are giving the tightness some beautiful release and allowing the energy to expand, from being this really strong knot to expanding out and spilling into beautiful areas in your body that would love more energy and love to elongate and love to get more blood and more oxygen. So if you really think about it, what we're doing here is that we are increasing our love for ourselves. We're increasing our capacity to give ourselves everything it needs, whether it's oxygen, and whether it's energy, whether it's compassion, whether it's love. Physical touch is just bringing that mindfulness back to ourselves instead of focusing it on the external world. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I can't wait to hear all the beautiful ways that you give yourself love. Go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'm going to come back and check and reply to everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video.